Hello again.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a summary of the key affirmations and strokes without you applying any pressure. Just go through the motions. I'll guide you with the words, and you follow with the stretches. It doesn't
Okay.
matter that you get them right. It just matters that you follow me we'll just do exactly what we did in the last hour and a half, but we'll do this in 20 minutes. We'll do a short version.
Okay. So
And we don't have to do both sides of the body. We'll just do one side of the body, so it's very easy to remember. You started off with on the on his back. Remember, we started off on the back.
we did. Yeah, that's true. We were here when we started.
On the back.
Oh, on right on. Yeah, starting with the neck. Started with the neck. That's right. We did.
That's right. So you can guide me through, and I'll just we'll just do like a quick summary of everything you've learned so far, and then this way you can see this, and it'll be good you have this with the affirmations matching. Remember, what we're doing together is a combination of breath, sound, visualization, stretching, and rhyme at the same time. So the stretching and the breath and the muscles matches the implanting of the new self-talk and the muscle memory. The first stroke, you're stretching the neck away from the sacrum, and on the exhalation, you're pulling the neck up. And these are the words. Let's say the words together so I know you're hearing me. I stand tall.
I stand tall.
Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretching further, saying these words with renewed dignity.
With renewed dignity.
Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretch further, saying these words. I stand on a firm, flexible foundation.
I stand on a firm, flexible foundation.
Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretching further. That supports me.
That supports me.
And then you can say to your client, more room for you to feel supported in your body, in your mind, in your life, any combination, so they see the application. Okay, so that's the first stretch. Then we turn your head to the side. Generally, we do the easier side first, and this is the counter stretch with the neck. His ear is on one side, so you're stretching the head either all the way to the right or all the way to the left, and we get the series of counter stretches which go along with these affirmations. So you do the stretches, I'll do the affirmations. My shoulder drops away.
My shoulder drops away.
More room for me to trust.
More room for me to trust.
What I feel, think, do, and say.
What I feel, think, do, and say.
So now I see, Sean, you have your arms open. This stretch is more powerful when you cross your arms over. So when his head is turned to the, notice how much more powerful it is. Now you get the counter stretch. Before you couldn't. See the difference? It's much more powerful this way. As you stretch the shoulder away from the ear, pressing with your right hand against his left shoulder, and then you have more surface area to take these fingers, your second and third fingers, and with the flat of those fingers, trace up on that sternocleidomastoid muscle on either side. Excellent. So you do the first, the easier side, then the tighter side. All right. So we do that on both sides, and then we have the body turn to the side, and we go through the next series of stretches, which we did while he's laying on either side you want to do, whichever side would like more work. But this is not really so much pressure as we're going through the strokes. We're just going through the motions. You okay?
Yeah.
That way we don't have to create more processing with you because you've already gone through this. But we want to do it just to go through the matching of the strokes and the affirmations. Okay, so shoulder drops away from ear, more room to speak, more room to hear. So you're pulling the left elbow, with the left shoulder down with your left hand, right? That's correct. And with your right soft fist, Sean, stretching up the body, up the trapezius muscle, and saying these words out loud after me on the exhales. Ready? My shoulder drops away.
My shoulder drops away.
Inhale. Inhale, relax, everybody. Exhale, say these words. More room for me to trust.
More room for me to trust.
Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretch furthest. What I feel, think, do, and say.
What I feel, think, do, and say.
Good. Now use the flat of your heel of your hand, Sean, to stretch as you say these words. More room between my shoulder and my ear.
More room between my shoulder and my ear.
Inhale, relax. Exhale, pull the left shoulder to his left hip and your right hip, your right heel of your hand stretching towards his neck. More room for me to speak my truth.
More room for me to speak my truth.
Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretch furthest. More room for me to clearly hear.
More room for me to clearly hear.
And then you can use either the soft fist or the flat of your heel of your hand to say these words, I am heard.
These words, I am
And I trust
heard.
my inner wisdom.
I trust my inner wisdom.
That's all done on the exhalation and the deep stretching at the same time. My inner guidance.
My inner guidance.
My inner knowing.
My inner knowing.
Yep, and feel that all fully, freely flowing, growing and glowing. Good. Now you use your left elbow, Sean, to stretch the shoulder away from the ear. And it's not you're actually facing up with your body, facing up his body. That's right. And you want to bring his body closer to yours so you're not leaning so much further back. Bring his body right next to yours. Exactly. Yep, that's it. Perfect. And so now your left elbow is moving down his trapezius towards his hip joint. And I didn't share these with you in the earlier session, but I'm going to do it with you now. I'm going to say these words out loud after me. I let go of the programs, patterns, and pain I've been shouldering.
I let go of the programs, patterns, and pain I've been shouldering.
Sean, your body is facing up his body, not sideways. And you're just using the left elbow, only the left elbow. As you bring your left elbow down the mass of the muscle of the trapezius, not onto the back, just the trapezius, moving it towards the right shoulder, the right shoulder, just to the tip of the clavicle, the shoulder. What do you call that? This part of the shoulder itself. So I let go of the programs. No. Just here. Watch me. Just this muscle, just the trapezius muscle, just focusing only on the trapezius muscle for this stretch. And you're facing down with your elbow. So your elbow, Sean, is moving down towards his left hip. So you're not facing sideways. You're facing up. You're looking. There you go. Keep turning your body. Turn your whole body, Sean, so you're facing up his body. There, and the elbow is going down, like doing a billiard shot backwards. That's more. That you can lean your elbow as you exhale into his trapezius muscle. It's much more powerful pressure. Notice the difference? You're leaning down. The trapezius is moving towards his hip, so your elbow is moving in the direction of his muscle moving towards his hip. Got it? Yeah, just through the body of the muscle. That's right. And so I let go carrying. I let go shouldering the programs and patterns and pain of my ancestors.
The programs, patterns, and pain of my ancestors.
And anyone else that I didn't want to suffer, struggle, or hurt.
Anyone else I didn't want to struggle, suffer, or hurt.
I send these back to the source.
I send these back to the source.
Back to where they came.
Back to where they came.
Now you can put your hand underneath like a claw underneath his wing. This we didn't show you earlier, but we practiced this in our earlier sessions. As you put your hand underneath his wing and lean to the corner of the room, you're leaning up away from his head to the area of the corner of the room, Sean, where your right shoulder, Sean, is. You're leaning with your body facing backwards towards the corner of the room that's towards that now you're facing. See the area, Sean, above your right shoulder in front of you? You turn your body around. So you're facing me with your body, Sean. Yeah, and your back. There we go. And with your right hand underneath his wing like this. Yes, that's right. And your left hand pulling the shoulder so you can create an envelope and get under the wing with your right claw. Now, lean backward, Sean, as we say these words. More room for me to open my heart.
More room for me to open my heart.
More room for me to receive abundantly.
More room for me to receive abundantly.
To claim my true part.
To claim my true part.
Exactly. So that is a very powerful stretch to open the area underneath the wing. Now we bring the arm up over the head like we did earlier. His left arm exactly like that. That's right. And we're doing the series of counter stretches with your elbows tapering off to your forearms with the following words. Ready? At the top of the inhale, placing your elbows, your left and right elbows, Sean, with his arm outstretched, if you can, over the ear itself. So it's not forward, but his arm is a little bit more of a position of tension. There we go. And then saying these words out loud after me on the exhalations, everyone. I let go of old patterns.
I let go of old patterns.
No longer serving.
No longer serving me.
My growth and development.
My growth and development.
That's the continuation of the long exhalation stretch. Good. Now as you breathe in, you focus your attention here, Sean, on stretching this part of the body, and you say these words out loud. I fully receive.
I fully receive.
Fresh inspiration.
Fresh inspiration.
I bring this all the way through as you bring now your right hand all the way down towards the lumbar area. I bring this inspiration all the way through. I follow through.
I follow
What matters
through.
the most to me. Yes, good. So the stroke and the stretch and the words and the exhalation are all matching up. Is this making sense?
Yes. Yep.
Great. So now we'll focus on the hip joint. And you did fists, elbows, and forearms. And we'll do these three strokes in the asterisk XYZ angles of directions of force as I'll give you the affirmations that match this as well. Okay. Say these words out loud. I mobilize what I've been sitting on.
I mobilize what I've been sitting on.
Next exhalation. To fuel my most passionate purpose here.
To fuel my most passionate purpose here.
Yes. Energies once bound, now bound to release.
Energies once bound, now bound to release.
Yep. So you did that with the elbows. Good. Now do that with your fists. I release my pent-up charge.
I release my pent-up charge.
I've been sitting on for a long time.
I've been sitting on for a long time.
Good. So that's long letting go breath. I let go and follow through.
I let go and follow through.
Freeing my physical, emotional, creative energy.
Freeing my physical, emotional, creative energies.
Yes, good. All right, now we'll use the elbow, your left elbow and forearm down through the psoas muscle, but you're starting up at the side, and then you move towards the pubic bone. So first start off just pressing the elbow without any pressure right at the tip of there we go, closest to the ilium, exactly. And then these words follow on the exhalations. Ready? I let go of clinging to old, familiar, wounded identities.
Old, wounded identities.
No longer serving my growth and development.
No longer serving my growth and development.
Good. Now starting fresh, because it's always the first time, back to the beginning. I let go of fixed positions.
I let go of fixed positions.
Stubborn postures.
Stubborn postures.
Rigid points of view.
rigid points of view,
Then we start again, the elbow coming back to the skin again. In ways that I've been stopping short,
in ways that I've been stopping short,
I follow through
I follow through.
what matters the most to me.
What matters the most to me,
Putting my feet down with ease.
putting my feet down with ease.
What matters the most to me.
What matters the most to me,
Good. I move forward in my preferred life direction.
I move forward in my preferred life direction.
Or you could say, I move forward in my most fulfilling life direction.
I move forward in my most fulfilling life direction.
Yeah, so you make up your own words that match what makes sense to you. So those were the key stretches that we shared here today. There's a lot more, of course, we've done in earlier sessions, but I wanted to give you a little summation so you can have this recorded and you can follow this and look at it later so you can remember and have the choreography of communication matching the stretches and the strokes. Remember this. If you remember one thing from everything we've done here together, if you remember this, that we're combining breath, sound of release, visualization, waters falling down the spine, sunrise lifting up the front, with the stretching of the muscles and the affirmations in rhyme all at the same time. So these 5 modalities, breath, sound, visualization, stretching, and rhyme, all are done simultaneously. Therefore, the new self-talk immediately is encoded in the muscle memory and it's easier to remember. That's why you don't have to use the same pressure as what you've been taught by other teachers. You have to use a lot of force. No, when you work with the exhalation and do the stretches on the exhalations while implanting the words at the same time with the guided visualization and sound, it's so much more powerful than just pressing into the muscle because we're working in concert together. Beautiful working with you too. Now, ending the teaching part of the session, just come close to the camera and let's, if you would share, both of you, what you have in the last 3 sessions, because we've been doing this 6 hours so far together, the 3 of us, how this has been most useful in your learning, in your clearing, in your being able to be more effective, both as a human, as a client, as a practitioner. Who would like to speak first?
I guess I'll go first. I mean,
Great.
when Amanda told me about this stuff, I was like, okay, well, I'll try it and see what I'm getting into here because I trust her. And I'm like, hey, this will be interesting. But really, I just figured it was some, I don't know, fancy form of body work. I didn't expect to have nearly so much like emotional catharsis and energy shifting and like, all the shaking I did, especially even this session, like I'm completely different for the time and in a way that I don't know, I feel like calling this traditional body work is doing you a disservice, Gary. Like there's magic in these pills, right? There's like
it's transformational body therapy at the very least, and the Woman method for the whole person, which is that we're dealing with the whole person, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual layers. Like archaeologists to the soul, we're digging into the landscape where we're all buried in our own structures to free the physical tension, the emotional holding patterns keeping from decisions and judgments we made, from traumas and things that happen along the way, the holding patterns in place, which then frees on the 3rd level, physical, emotional, the creative layers of consciousness, of creativity, of full self-expression, to take a full stand of command in your land and live the life you've always wanted. So we're doing way more than body work. We're connecting the body, the mind, and the soul in a very simple, integrated pathway that you can easily follow. So thank you for that feedback. Sean, how about yourself?
So I'm writing my essays for my DO applications right now for med school. And one of the biggest...
Come a little closer. I can only see your chest. Yeah.
So I'm writing my essays right now for my med school applications for Doctor of Osteopathy.
I see.
And shift that this has had in my consciousness as far as really reflecting holistic engagement with my body, with my patient's body, with tuning differently into the interfaces between the spirit, the emotions, the mental, the physical, being present in new ways. Definitely having a beginner's mind with a master's experience is a novel place to find yourself, where you're like, I've been doing these things for years, and this is like a whole new vehicle all of a sudden. It's really marvelous.
What has been a whole new vehicle that's turned around your thinking, so you know you can go deeper, you can go further, you can go way beyond in your body work and in connecting with consciousness. Specifically, give some examples of what's shifting.
So I'm normally nonverbal when
Yeah.
I work with my patients. I normally
Yeah.
don't talk. And that's the verbal entrainment with my patients, so that they have another way to engage with me in the transformation engine, so that I'm not the one being the engine, they're the one engaging with the engine, and I'm really just holding the container, which is how I generally access it, though it's giving my patient a way to really grip into the transformational process with me. And in so doing, the transformations are coming much more quickly. The ease is much more present for the patient. I'm actually working through my own emotional blocks.
Yes.
Through the course of working with the patient. So in the verbiage, and there is the consistent synergy of the patient shows up when you're the one having the issue. And you're like speaking to the patient's issue as you're speaking to your own issue. Exactly. And so as you're doing it together, it's a tandem unlock. There's a tandem transformational.
Yeah, that's I find that so uniquely different. In the sense that this is an integrative therapy. Matter of fact, in a lot of the nomenclature in the therapeutics with insurance companies, this is, beyond it being a form of deep tissue muscle therapy and remedial massage, it is an integrative therapy that works as much on the therapist as the client. As a matter of fact, when we're providing these strokes, as we're exhaling together, inhaling together, implanting, as you just mentioned, these affirmations, often in rhyme or however makes sense to you in an efficient, streamlined way, as the muscles are being stretched the same length of the exhalation at the same time, we're working with that same pattern within our bodies, within the client's body, and within all souls who have the same consciousness, because it penetrates out like a pebble in the lake to affect all matter, spirit matter. So that's how it is, so instantaneously swift and sustainable. And you said it so well. I really appreciate how you see how it's transformed your ability to be more effective, both outwardly and inwardly, working with yourself while you're working with your clients at the same time. What else, as we complete here today in these last three sessions? Obviously, we've been on a bit of a journey over the last, it's been about 2-3 months now we've been doing this. What is different now for both of you than when we started?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely taller and looser, and as you saw on Facebook, probably, Gary, and I told you I completed a Spartan that I didn't, really think I was going to be able to do. Got a relationship back that I really cared about. Really starting to go for it more in my business. Like, even though some of the structural stuff, like food and stuff, has been challenging still, I am seeing progress. I've got actually a stair workout to do after this, and now at least I'm loose enough to be able to like take it on without being in pain about it. Like, it'll be kind of annoying to go do a bunch of stairs for 90 minutes after feeling like butter when I just want to take a nap, but at least moving through it will be nicer. And it's funny, I was gonna reflect exactly what Sean said in my energy work. I noticed that I only get the clients that have the issues that I'm having. So then when I do the energy work, it's the ones that like are unlocking me as well. And I'll have to probably talk about this with you separately, but Sean did offer to find a practitioner in LA who was local, and
Great. Great. Yeah, we
But
can continue the training. Absolutely. With each person that is working with you, we'll get different nuances of nuances. Absolutely. And Sean,
well,
you can take
sure,
the
but
floor.
I wanted to just ask that of you though, because it does sort of mean that you would have to start over, right?
Not
Like,
necessarily. I mean, yes and no. In a way, the strokes are going to be the same, but the affirmations and your relationship to that person will be very interesting, whether it's a male or female. Watch how different it is, because you see, you've moved forward in your consciousness and with your body to a new level. So whoever works with you next is able to take you further into a deeper dive into fully expressing your gifts. We've freed up a lot of the pent up physical and emotional and creative energy. Now our work becomes more bringing your work out into the world as an energy master yourself. So that's
right.
something that you will find comforting and creative as we move forward with whoever brings in. And Sean, I'm happy to work with you further one-on-one. We can do that as well. Please send me your contact details so I can, not here in the chat, but separately. I'm going to close this now so I can send this to you because it's really powerful what we've shared. And I guess I want to ask you as well, because I didn't have a chance to cut you off, Sean, and what's different for you from the beginning to the end, where we started and where you are now?
So when we started, I thought I was going to be going to med school in Las Vegas, and I had been experiencing a block about like just finishing the application, of doing the things I needed to do. It was just like there was just zero motivation to do those things, and I was really struggling with the why, because normally my sacral yes is like a solar power and it's fine and I go, and I was like, I know this is supposed to be the answer, and that answer just wasn't manifesting. And over the course of this work, I went on a trip, and now I think I'm probably going to be going to North Carolina. I just walked onto the campus. My partner was so at ease, which was my barometer, because he's been at a great deal of distress being in Las Vegas, just stress. And just being there without even really knowing that I was going for an interview. Like I didn't tell him that's what we were doing. We were just driving around town. And I was like, I'm going to stop and talk to these folks at this campus. I've got a pull. And the head of the program ended up in a private interview with me, and all of our areas of medicine overlap. He has a focus in emergency medicine. He has a focus in reaching populations that can't access medical care. He has a focus in dealing with grief work and hospice work. And so that all of our overlaps were parallel to each other. The conversation, I think I found my next mentor, and I think I have found my next launch pad. And I am ecstatic because I have been looking and not understanding where the breaks and the blocks were. And in the course of doing this work, a lot of those things have revealed themselves and been transformed.
Very powerful for your own personal journey. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to turn off the recording now. We can have a few minutes just to debrief and to complete as the three of us. And I will be sending you this recording so you can have this for the future and refer to it anytime you want to review these key strokes and affirmations. There's many more, of course, that we went over, but we can also access that through the videos on my YouTube channel, which is my body therapy. I think what's it called? My body therapy is it's called Transformational Body Therapy, the name of my YouTube channel, which you can also see at any time. And
I'll find you and make sure I subscribe, Gary. I will.
I used your name to find you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you found me. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
You've got so much on Google. You could find left and right where they're working with the body, the creativity, the full self-expression, the taking a stand for doing presentations with your gifts. There's all these levels that you can easily Google me, and it'll come up.
Unfortunately, I have to get on the road to my next patient.
Bless you. I will see you, and so good to know you. Yes, let us know how to reach you. We'll end the recording